With the whole bantamweight division a mess right now, it's kind of confusing who's going to get a title shot, who's next, but this fight's definitely going to help us understand the title picture a little bit more, and I'm excited for this matchup. Welcome back, guys. Today we're going to be breaking down Marlon Vera versus Cory Sandhagen. Who do I think will win? How do I think they will win? What the game plan should be going into the fight. And I'm also going to be talking about Garry returning to the Octagon May 13th, a pretty fast turnaround against a very tough opponent. We're going to be talking about that later. As always, hit the subscribe button, like, comment, and share. Q&A is tomorrow, so last chance to ask any questions. But anyway, guys, let's just get into this. Alright, Marlon Vera versus Cory Sandhagen. This matchup's very interesting. Look, guys, these are going to be two strikers going at it, even though we've seen Cory Sandhagen improve in the takedown game, especially with the fight with Sandhagen, which, yes, I wouldn't be surprised to see Cory shoot for takedowns, but I think this fight will be mostly on the feet, considering that Cheeto has very underrated jiu-jitsu. And right now, with this whole bantamweight division kind of on a hold due to TJ Dillashaw, really, we got Sean O'Malley, the winner of this fight, Marab, all possible for a title shot, but instead we're giving it to Henry Cejudo, who hasn't been active for 3 years, which, yes, I agree, he does deserve a title shot as well. It just becomes a problem because we're holding up the division so much. And I think I figured out who is going to win this fight based on one question: who is going to back up? And that answer is hard to figure out because both fighters are very prone to backing up, especially Marlon Vera. Marlon Vera's main defense, which is a big hole in his game and which is why he's kind of been losing a lot of his fight up until his finish, is because his main defense is just running straight backwards. He's not thinking about where he is, he's just moving back linear, putting his back against the cage, and just giving his opponents free time to land shots. Cheeto has to think a little bit more about what he's landing, especially with Cory Sandhagen. I think that's something that Cory is going to take advantage of. If Cory starts throwing combinations, Cheeto is going to be running backwards, and then at that point he's going to be right behind the cage. Cory's going to be picking at the legs. But if you're going to give credit to Cheeto for anything, is yes, even though he's been losing a lot of his fights up until the finish, he always manages to find the finish. And you could say, yes, he has fought in a little bit of older opponents, when you consider Frankie Edgar, Dominic Cruz, guys with longer career. And because of that, Marlon Vera is very exciting because he's dangerous at all times. He always calculates your mistakes and figures out a way to take full advantage of them. Like when you look at the Dominic Cruz fight, he noticed his head movement and for 4 rounds was setting up that shot, and then finally it landed and knocked Dominic Cruz out bad. And like I said, granted, these are a lot older opponents, guys with longer careers, and guys have taken a lot more damage, most importantly. But Marlon has that finishing ability. He has the ability to hurt you. I just think he needs to specifically work on his defense. That's his main problem. And the thing about Cory is I've always respected Cory. Cory is a guy that always tries to get better. When he finds a hole in his game, he trains that. Take the wrestling, for example. He had a big wrestling hole in his game, decided to work all wrestling. Got submitted by Aljamain Sterling. He started working on his jiu-jitsu. Now his jiu-jitsu is high level. I think if we see those guys on the ground, it's going to be very interesting to see because I think both these guys are going to be attack and submission. It's going to be pretty interesting to see. I have a feeling this is going to be fight of the year candidate, and I'm very excited because, like I said, I think most of all this fight is going to be on the feet. I can see Cory Sandhagen mixing in takedowns here or there to maybe help secure him some rounds, but I think he's going to be most comfortable on the feet, and I'm going to go with my prediction. I'm going to say Cory Sandhagen by decision. I think Cheeto is going to have some moments where he hurts Cory. I think he's going to have him in trouble. I think especially with his kicks, I could see him throwing kicks to the body, trying to soften up Cory, kick him to the leg, and that goes for both guys. I think both guys' legs are going to be beat up at the end of this fight. Cory Sandhagen has hard leg kicks, so I could see a scenario where he really messes up Cheeto's leg. And I love both bantamweight contenders, and I really hope that we get to see them at the top at some point. I think we're going to see Cory Sandhagen throwing tons of techniques, catching Cheeto, and I could even see him getting a finish. Like if Cory throws a barrage of punches, and then when Cheeto's to the fence, he throws some sort of spinning thing, that's going to hit Cheeto, and that's going to hurt him. I could definitely see this ending at any point. I'm going to go Cory Sandhagen. I'm pretty confident in this pick. Cheeto has looked good. When you look at the Rob Font fight, even the Dominic Cruz fight, and hell, even the Frankie Edgar fight, you see him losing up until that finish, or in the Rob Font case, he was winning because of knockdowns. Outside of those knockdowns, Font was having some success with the volume. It's just Marlon Vera landed a lot more damaging shots. And I'm not trying to take anything away from Marlon Vera because, like I said, he calculates your mistakes. He's very smart in that way. He's good at capitalizing on the mistakes that you do, but I just think Cory Sandhagen is a young guy. He hasn't taken too much damage. I think he's going to have quite a chin. We've only really seen him hurt against Jan. So my prediction, like I said, Cory Sandhagen, I think most likely decision, but I could really see a scenario where Cory Sandhagen catches him with something, especially against the fence. Even maybe a flying knee against the fence. I have no idea. I could definitely see this going for a finish. I think Cory's going to have a pretty good performance. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Who do you guys have? How? Let me know in the comments below. And let's just move on to the next story. Alright, Garry, man. We know this guy. He's the Irish prospect, the guy that Conor McGregor has been praising. Everybody's been praising, and rightfully so. He's undefeated, and his striking is insane. If you watch his last fight, even though he got dropped, it was still really impressive. However, like most UFC prospects, they didn't really start fighting the top competition. And while his last opponent gave him problems, outside of that, Garry really taught him a lesson, outstriking him and landing beautiful shots, mixing it up well. He's a very, very underrated guy because a lot of people find him cringe. Sometimes, especially early on, it was a little annoying the way that he kind of made himself seem like a draw, even though not a lot of people knew who he was. But he's kind of grown on me as of recent, you know, especially with him with his family and things like that. I do really enjoy him now, but I'm especially impressed with the fact he wants to be active because he just fought March 4th and we already have a new fight date, May 13th. He did try to get on the April pay-per-view that's happening in 2 weeks. However, things didn't work out. I assume they weren't able to find some sort of opponent, but this opponent is legit, and I'm worried for Ian Garry's record. We're talking D-Rod, Daniel Rodriguez. Now, I think most of you guys know who Daniel Rodriguez was. Is. He's a very good boxer in the UFC. He lost his last fight to Neil Magny. First time he ever got finished, it was by submission. And in the fight before that, he won a very, very close decision with the Leech. And a lot of people thought Li Xingliang won. But regardless, I think that Daniel Rodriguez does fight very well. And look, this is a very tough test for Ian Garry because this guy is a legit striker. He's very tough and he's very underrated in my opinion. Never been knocked out, and I'm curious to see, can Ian Garry's power hold up against Daniel Rodriguez? I think this fight's going to a decision. I don't see either fighter knocking anybody out. I don't know who's going to win yet. I want to do a little more analysis, so I'll talk about it closer. I know this for certain, man. Ian Garry is not a lock in this fight. I wouldn't be surprised to see if D-Rod's actually a favorite. D-Rod has more experience, and obviously we know his skill is up to par. And I think if Ian Garry wins this fight, I think he should be on the card with Conor McGregor fighting his first ranked opponent on the main card. That would just be incredible. Maybe him and Jeff Neal, that would be an interesting fight. But we can't get past D-Rod because D-Rod is legit, so I'm very, very excited to see where this puts him in the division. And we could definitely compare his performance. I mean, if he knocks out Daniel Rodriguez, the first guy to do that, then we know he's legit. So I'm very excited for that matchup. I think most hardcore MMA fans know that this is a tough matchup and going to be a really fun fight. Anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you guys thought in the comment section below. Let me know what you guys thought of both stories. Like I said, thank you guys for the support as always. Please leave a like on this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.